There's three things in this world that we're all guaranteed, no matter what economic background we come from. Public libraries, public education, and public parks. That's why I feel very passionately that all students should receive not only a public education, but a great public education.
I think the most unique thing about Central is a downtown high school that works. There are no downtown high schools in this country that are open enrollment, educationally comprehensive, and the largest high school in their state. It doesn't exist.
Big picture-wise, the foundation was founded because of the generosity of Central grads. They were giving money back to Central High School because they had success in their careers and they wanted to offer the same types of opportunities to Central students.
I was the PTA president that year, 1996, and talking to Doc Muller, the principal at the time, over a number of years he raised a lot of money from alumni, friends of Central. All that money was sitting in the Omaha Public Schools Foundation. And we were concerned that the money that was raised for Central might be allocated for something else.
Primarily in the beginning for small projects and scholarships, a lot of scholarship money. And then it's evolved into a much more significant foundation now.
Central's very, very diverse. When you talk about 45% Caucasian, 25% African American, 25% Hispanic. And again, those kids come from everywhere.
And I think that's what makes us go. I think that's why people send their kids to Central. They want them to have a look at the real world, that not everybody's going to look like them. Not everybody's going to think the same things as they do.
When you look at student achievement data, typically you see differences when you break it down by socioeconomic status of students. Because achievement is so often tied to opportunity, it's referred to as an opportunity gap. You need to understand and recognize where they come from and try to provide some of the experiences that they were not able to get prior to coming to school.
Whenever you can give an experiential learning opportunity, it's a big thing to get kids out of a textbook, out of the classroom, and to relate what they're learning in those things to the real world. It was a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and you know, we've all had those in high school, we've all had those in college, where you have that one experience that really molds you, that changes you, that you never forget about. And what my hope would be, they would be in a position to give back to. So you know what, that scholarship, that grant really helped me do some great things, and I'm going to give back.
You have an entire spectrum, from the rich to the rich, to some of the most challenged economically in this country. And that's what I think makes this place so unique. It is an anomaly, it's an outlier. And that's why it's a beacon for everything that's good in public education. Good evening, and welcome to the finest finest high school in the country, a true beacon for everything that's good in public education. I am so excited to be here along with you. I want to thank and welcome all of the Eagles who are returning home. It is a very special evening tonight because we get to recognize the achievement of individuals who've taken the Eagle Way, the idea that we achieve because we are about achievement, the idea that we represent because we are about representing, and most importantly, the idea that we give back more than we take, the idea that we are selfless in our service towards this community, this state, this country, and particularly towards Central High School. If you didn't know it, my name is Keith Bixby, and I am the 18th principal retired and happily retired. I am also a Central High School Board Foundation member, and very proud of everything that we do here at Central, for Central, and with Central. I will be your facilitator. I'm not going to say MC tonight because we have 10 really great young people who are going to help me do that. So my job is to make sure that we are on time, in order, and we recognize the best and the brightest that Central has to offer tonight. So I also want to say thank you to the people around the world who are watching on our live cast and are a part of our show just as importantly. And we do have people that love this part of the show. To get started at tonight's ceremonies, I would like to congratulate our 10 individuals that we take into the Hall of Fame. As I said earlier, you represent Central as what I truly believe it's about. The idea of doing it the Eagle Way, achievement, representation, and community commitment. Very, very special. And so I just want to congratulate you on this honor, tell you that it is a very exciting evening. To get started, I would like to do some thank yous and some recognitions. First of all, I would like to thank the Hall of Fame Selection Committee for recommending another great class of inductees. Will the following committee members please stand to be recognized? Hall of Fame Chair Barb Naughton, committee members Kenneth Allen, Bob Atherton, Jordan Boyer, Brian Fahey, Linda Gomez, Nelson Gordman, Martin Ricks, Bailey Rutten, Kiana Williams, and Dick Zachariah. Let's give these people a round of applause. Thank you for your commitment. I would also like to say thank you to the Central High School Alumni Association for their energy and effort to make this Hall of Fame celebration possible. Special thanks to the committee for putting on this wonderful event, and I want to make sure we get those individuals recognized. So will these following individuals please stand? President Jeanette Johnson, Hall of Fame Dinner Committee members Henry Cordes, Janine Mason, Chris Pellman, Katie Pellman, and Gary Willis. Thank you very much, guys. Now I would like to thank the Central High School Foundation for its support of Central High School and its alumni. And in attendance tonight are the following board members, and I'd like you guys to stand and be recognized. And as well with the board members, we also have members of the Central High School Foundation staff. So, President Matt Aiden, Ed Bennett, Rusty Crossman, Andy Haggart, Christy Hayes, Marilee Miller, Executive Director Michelle Roberts, Events and Alumni Relations Manager Sydney Davidson, and Communications and Database Manager Josh Busey. Can you guys get a round of applause? Yeah. Thank you for all you do. I would also like to recognize all of the past Central High School Hall of Fame honorees that are in attendance tonight, and thank them for their ongoing contributions and giving back to continue to make this school the best possible school in the country. And I mean that wholeheartedly. There are, as I told Red Thomas last night, no downtown high schools like this. They don't exist. There is nothing like Central High School anywhere in the country. And if you talk to an educator, they will tell you exactly that. The former Hall of Fame members in the audience, honorees, if you would stand and be recognized: Scott Barker, Jerry Barty, Ramona Barty, Rick Chudikoff, Rusty Crossman, Joe DeSacco,
Chris Foster, Mike Garrity, Peggy Georgeson, John Goldner, Jerry Hoberman, James Howard, Roy Katsky, Howard Kennedy, Marilyn Miller, Lloyd Reutzstein, and Rudy Smith. Let's give these people a round of applause. And finally, I want to thank a very, very, very important group, and that is the current and the past staff and teachers here in this building. And I don't know everybody that is here, but if you guys would stand up and get recognized, I think it's very important we recognize the key ingredient to a lot of success here at Central High School. So past and present staff and teachers, thank you. At this time, I would like to introduce a good friend of mine and someone that I am very proud to have an association with, Dr. Ed Bennett, the current principal of the Downtown High School. Dr. Bennett.
Thank you, Dr. Bigsby, and it is my great pleasure again to welcome all of you here this evening and to be the 19th principal of this amazing school, Omaha Central High School. Did you know that since 1944, there have only been 7 central principals? And 3 of them, besides me, are here this evening. When I introduce you, could you please stand? The 16th principal, Mr. Jerry Bexton, the 17th principal, Mr. Greg Emmel, and 18th principal, Dr. Keith Bigsby. On behalf of the entire Central High community, I would like to congratulate tonight's inductees and their families. Inductees, you not only understand the importance of Central High School's tradition of excellence, but in many respects, you are responsible for creating it. You have distinguished yourselves and honored Central High School as leaders in wide-ranging pursuits throughout your lives. What an amazing collection of talented Eagles, all in one place. We are so happy to have you back home and to honor you for representing us, your fellow Eagles, in the best possible way. Before the formal recognition of the inductees begin this evening, I've been tasked with giving you a snapshot of what Central High School circa 2017 looks like, and letting you know this powerhouse high school continues to produce graduates who make us all proud, many of whom we hope will one day join you in the Hall of Fame. We remain the most distinguished, most successful, most diverse, and of course, the best high school in the state of Nebraska. We have, as of this morning, 2,520 students born in 36 different countries, speaking over 74 different languages. I talked to a student at lunch yesterday. He said, Dr. Bennett, I'm really disappointed. I only speak 3 languages. I said, that's about 3 more than I speak. And there was another kid at the table saying, I speak 5. So it's pretty phenomenal to have international experience doing the glamorous task of lunch duty. 10 of our finest current Eagles are here with us this evening serving as our student ambassadors. We have an unabashed appreciation for the 2 things that Central grads have always cherished: academic excellence and student diversity in all of its forms. We have multiple National Merit Scholar semifinalists and commendation winners, our 5th class of international baccalaureate candidates poised to graduate. We have 10th, 11th, and 12th grade classes with the highest standardized test scores at Central High, respectively, in the past 10 years. We have a senior class garnering interest in the nation's finest colleges and universities. We have award-winning musical ensembles, plays, musicals, all state and all city musicians, the 104th road show on the calendar. Students still carrying around style books, yes, we still have them, for their English classes. And by the way, I will not be the principal at Central when the style books go away, if ever. That will be up to somebody else. We have an incredible foundation that works tirelessly to support our students and connect to and honor our alumni, and that is currently building a 50,000 square foot, $20 million addition to the east side of Central High School. Wow. Yes, Central is still Central, and a word to the wise should be sufficient. Its tradition of excellence and influence on the community, much like the passion of its proud alumni, continues to grow. So in closing, my warmest congratulations to our inductees and their families, and my thanks to all other Central alums and supporters here this evening for all you have done and continue to do for Central High School. Dr. Beasley.
Boy, I'm glad he's principal. We are now ready to begin our program, our induction program. And members of the Central High School National Honor Society will be introducing the inductees. And so we are ready to begin. And our first inductee tonight is Edson Smith, Central High School, 1922.
Inductee Edson Smith, class of 1922. As a crusading young prosecutor in 1930s Omaha, Smith helped break the grip of the political machine that long controlled the city. After graduating from Harvard Law School, Smith returned to his hometown and brought a 58-count indictment against Tom Dennison, the underworld boss whose criminal syndicate gripped the city. After Edson's case at trial exposed Dennison's bootlegging, gambling, violence, and network of dirty cops, a reform ticket at the next election swept Dennison from power. Smith died in 1988, but his legacy has been carried on by two daughters who followed him into law, including the first woman to serve as a federal judge in Nebraska. Accepting on behalf of Mr. Smith is his daughter, Judge Lori Smith Camp.
Omaha's mayor no longer takes orders from the boss of the crime syndicate. Omaha's businesses no longer feel compelled to dole out protection payments to keep their doors open. A mob boss no longer dictates the editorial policy of a major Omaha newspaper. And Omaha police no longer report to the most powerful criminal in the city. That era lasted a third of a century. It ended in 1932 through the efforts of Central High graduate Edson Smith. If you read the novel To Kill a Mockingbird, you know Edson Smith. Edson Smith was Atticus Finch on steroids. He wore starched white shirts, suspenders, spectacles, a gold pocket watch, and carried a linen handkerchief. He was modest, calm, patient, tolerant, ethical, and a devoted father. Like Atticus, Edson was a lawyer who had some clients who were too poor to pay for legal services. He provided all his clients, rich and poor, with the best possible representation. Even when he faced adversaries who were ruthless criminals, Edson was a gentleman. It was his nature. Like Scout, I learned to read at an early age sitting on my father's lap. He told me he was confident I could be a lawyer or a judge. Years later, when I did become a lawyer, he expressed concern that I might be spending too many years in government service. I disagreed. I said, government work is really important. Edson died in 1988. When his death was announced, the news media focused on his success as a young government lawyer, a federal prosecutor who brought an end to Tom Dennison's political machine and crime syndicate that controlled Omaha for the first third of the 20th century. In 1989, a book about Dennison's prosecution was released. Since then, a new edition of that book has been published and a second book has been written. Articles, lectures, and exhibits are generating renewed interest in that era and revealing new insights about the quiet man who liberated Omaha from the mob. So Edson Smith is remembered chiefly for his work in government service, and I have the satisfaction of saying, I told you so. Having people of ethics, competence, and good character in government is really important. In 2001, I moved to Omaha to become a federal judge. I told realtors that I wanted to live in Midtown and I wanted my daughter to go to Central High. My daughter, Abby, class of 2005, and I are grateful to Omaha Central teachers, administrators, and alumni for continuing Central's traditions of excellence, inclusion, respect, and ethics. that helped to mold the character of Edson Smith. Thank you.
Our next inductee is Paul Phillips, Central High School, 1932.
My name is Lauren Boxa, and I am a National Honor Society officer at Central. It is my honor to introduce inductee Paul Phillips, class of 1932. Phillips led the Urban League chapter in Grand Rapids through the turbulent civil rights struggles of the 1950s and 1960s, serving as a calm and strong force against racial discrimination. When Phillips took over the chapter in 1946, most restaurants refused to serve blacks, and they were denied skilled jobs and redlined in the poor neighborhoods. But using patient but dogged persuasion, while also discouraging violence, he changed attitudes, becoming what one civic leader called the most important force for racial justice Grand Rapids has known. Phillips also became the first African American elected to the local school board, held other local offices, and advised President Gerald R. Ford on matters of race. Accepting on behalf of the late Mr. Phillips is Barbara Knopf.
Mr. Phillips has one sole surviving family member, and Mr. Michael Phillips could not be with us tonight and asked me to accept the award. You know, it's pretty amazing how remarkable this wonderful Central High School family works. We would not have the opportunity to induct Mr. Paul Phillips into the 2017 Hall of Fame had it not been for Coach John Pop Schmidt's induction into the 2012 Hall of Fame here at Central. Pop Schmidt's grandson, John Schmidt, remembered one of Pop's outstanding athletes from Central and wrote a nomination for him to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. In an email John recently wrote to me, he said, "In 2012, my educator, coach grandfather, John Pop Schmidt, was inducted into the Central High Hall of Fame. My grandfather was Paul's coach at Central and knew Paul was not only an outstanding athlete, but truly held the ideals of leadership and scholastic excellence that Central holds core to its education. Young Mr. Phillips also held himself in a high moral ideal." Here in Omaha, we have an amazing group of dedicated alumni who are truly invested in the continued excellence that Central represents in Omaha and has represented for over 158 years. If you are someone who feels pride in keeping Central the best high school in the state, we need you on the Alumni Association and to support us, where you will have an opportunity to participate in the selection of inductees into the Hall of Fame and many of the other activities we pursue. I want to thank this year's team while I'm here, and also the team that I started with in 2016. We've introduced and inducted 2 years of outstanding alumni, and you should be all proud of your work. Again, thank you on behalf of Michael Phillips.
Our next inductee is Muriel Frank, Central High School, 1936.
My name is Michaela Koleski, and I'm the National Honor Society member at Central. It is my honor to introduce inductee Muriel Frank, class of 1936. As a pioneering woman in Omaha's medical community, Dr. Frank showed a commitment to improving patient care while inspiring many women to pursue medical careers. When Frank entered the University of Nebraska's medical school, many still believed women's proper role in medicine was limited to serving as nurses. But she earned her MD and helped start the anesthesiology department at Methodist Hospital, leading it for 15 years. She became the first woman to head the Metropolitan Omaha Medical Society. Frank would pave the way for hundreds of other women, thrilled to see the day when they made up half of all medical graduates. The League of Women Voters recognized her groundbreaking contributions to equality with a Shattered Ceiling Award. Accepting on behalf of Dr. Frank is Dick Zachariah.
It's my honor and pleasure to read a letter received from her son, Jay Steinman. On behalf of my mother, I want to thank the Central High Foundation for this great honor. I wish that she and I were able to be there for the induction. Because of failing health, I moved my mother to Atlanta earlier this year. She'd been a vigorous woman in the first 97 years of her life. Mom lived in the same house for 65 years. In preparing to move her, I had the formidable task of following through a lifetime's worth of possessions. Among the items I found were her Central High diploma, her graduation picture, and a copy of the 1935 edition of Sarah Boers Taylor's Style Book of Theme, Writing and Revision. Dr. Bennett may want that copy. With my compliment, SPT, was written on the cover. That she had saved this book for 80 years is evidence of the attachment and appreciation she had for Central High education. I also found a 1917 annual register, the O-Book of the era, with pictures of my grandmother and great aunt in the graduating class, the first of 3 generations of our family at Central. Using the foundation she gained at Central, my mom then attended the University of Nebraska as an undergrad in medical school. She was only one of 3 women in her medical school class. She then trained to be an anesthesiologist, a relatively new specialty at the time, at Bellevue Hospital in New York, then returned to Omaha, where she and Dorothy Thompson developed the anesthesiology department at Methodist Hospital. According to my mom, she and Dorothy were not only the first 2 female anesthesiologists in Omaha, they were the first anesthesiologists, period. It was difficult being a woman in medicine back then, and women typically had to be tougher than their male counterparts. My mom lived up to this stereotype. She practiced medicine using her maiden name, which was somewhat unusual for the time. Although diminutive in stature, she was strong-willed, had a commanding presence, and expected excellence from those around her. For much of her career, she was on call every night and often would have to go to the hospital in the middle of the night, then pull in a full day of work when the sun came up. She worked long hours and had little time for other things. She never took a sick day in 40 years. I say this not to impress you with her work ethic, but to show what she had to do to succeed in that era. When I tell this story to younger physicians, regardless of gender, they think that what my mom did was a bit nuts, but never she helped pave the way for women in medicine in Omaha. Several times in recent years when I went out to dinner with my mom, she was approached by women who would introduce themselves as physicians in town who wanted to thank her for being a role model for women in medicine in Omaha. Full disclosure, I nominated my mom for the Hall of Fame. The idea came to me last year after finding her Shattered Glass Award given by the League of Women Voters next to the plaque given to her late brother, Richard Frank, from his induction in the Central Hall of Fame. My regret was that I didn't think of nominating her earlier so she could have been here to accept the honor. Knowing her, she would have played it down, but would have been very appreciative. On behalf of our entire family, 3 generations of Central alumni, we would like to thank the CH Alumni Association, its Hall of Fame Selection Committee, and the Central High Foundation. We are so proud of Muriel and proud to be a part of the Central High family. Thank you. Jay Stein.
Our next inductee is Lawrence Red Thomas, Central High School, 1954.
My name is Nick Kohler, and I'm a National Honor Society member, as well as a senior class president at Central High School. It is my honor to introduce Lawrence Red Thomas, class of 1954. Thomas uses financial acumen to help build Conagra Inc. into one of the world's biggest food companies and one of Omaha's most significant employers. Thomas, in 1960, went to work at the small grain company, serving at its finance department and personnel department, running a small mill in Sheridan, Wyoming, and helping clean the offices on Saturdays. In 1969, he became the company's vice president of finance and later added the titles of treasurer and corporate secretary, effectively serving as a key right-hand man to Conagra's CEO. By the time Thomas retired in 1996, after 36 years with the company, Conagra boasted national sales to $25 billion and was the 4th largest international foods company. Lawrence Red Thomas.
Thank you, Nick. That was very well done. Well, you've inducted 3 people already into the Central Hall of Fame, and each one of them were leaders in justice, service, and equality. I spent some time the other day just reading the description in the Foundation's website of others who are in this Hall of Fame. It's just an amazing read. They're all such achievers who make this country of ours proud. And they all are top drawer in their field and went to the best downtown high school in the United States. I can't understand why I'm here tonight. I feel confused, humbled, and certainly blessed. Before this voice of mine gives out completely, I'd just like to reflect on several other blessings that have made my life so happy. Number 1, a great public education. America depends on it, and Central was a huge influence on me. Its can-do academic instruction was and is today truly outstanding. I probably should have paid more attention. My will-do locker room experience taught me valuable lessons about opportunity, effort, and equality. Today's teachers, coaches, and administrators are vital to Central's continued great education tradition, and I bless you all. Number two, Omaha has a world-class charitable community. It serves those in need in so many important ways. Opportunities to volunteer abound in this community of ours, and America depends on volunteerism. Participating in just a small way in these gave my life balance and the delight of giving back just a little bit. We're all blessed by the act of giving back. Number three, work puts bread on the table, so I went to work for a little flour mill to help it grow to the 16th largest public company in the United States. Was challenging, great fun, and rewarding too. Another blessing for me. Number four, friends and family. 3 kids, 6 grandkids, 2.5 great-grandkids. Many long friendships, lots of them starting right here at Central High School 65 years ago. Thanks, friends, for the joy you bring to my life and for being here tonight. My greatest blessing started as a freshman at Central High School when somebody asked me to do a party, and I met a vivacious, pretty bright 14-year-old girl named Jen Walker. By the time I caught her 8 years later, she had won 2 state golf championships, crowned Queen of Exarban, and asked to play on the pro golf tour. Fortunately, her dad wouldn't let her do that. But what makes her so special to me and to all of those that know her is her tenacity, her optimism, her capacity to love and to give to others. We celebrate our 60th wedding anniversary this year. Those are blessings that were so important to my life. I know each of you have great blessings of your own, and if you're an eagle, some of yours started right here too. This evening is really about keeping a great downtown high school tradition going strong. The Alumni Association and Foundation, as you've already heard, are doing an outstanding job and present us with opportunities to help them succeed. Let's please not let this blessing pass us by. Thank you, and blessings to you all.
Our next inductee is John Emery, Central High School, 1956.
My name is Edgar Roman, and I am a National Honor Society member of Grand Central. It is my honor to introduce inductee John Emery, class of 1956. Emery's life has been marked by his success and leadership in Nebraska's insurance industry, as well as public service, particularly on boards overseeing higher education. After obtaining a law degree, Emery helped found the R.D. Marcotte Agency in Omaha, helping make it the #1 sales operation within Mutual of Omaha. Later was asked to start an independent operation for Transamerica, establishing more than 90 offices nationwide under the name John Emery and Associates. Emery served as a state president for 4 different insurance and financial services associations. He also served on numerous other public nonprofit boards, including 2 years on the Metropolitan Community College Board and 9 years on Nebraska's Post-Secondary Commission for Higher Education.
Never mechanically inclined. First of all, I would like to thank the committee for nominating me. It was a real thrill for myself and my family. But before I go into all what this means to me, I need to thank some people. But Barb Naughton, you're here, right? When Barb called me, Sharon and I were sitting at my kitchen table counting out some pills. I had just been told, went through some surgery, massive surgery, for pancreatic cancer. If you had that word C announced to you, it really comes home to you. We were sitting there counting out the chemo pills, and all of a sudden I get this call from Barb, and she says, "John, you've been nominated." Sharon and I looked at each other, and for the first time in a long time, we had tears of joy. So, Barb, thank you very much for doing that. Also, at this time, there's 4 couples in the audience that, very honestly, I wouldn't be on the stage without them. First of all, I'd like to introduce, and if you'd like to stand, Dr. Jim Howard and his wife, Janet. Please stand. Also, Dick Kelly and his wife, Helen. Thanks for being our friends. Also, Larry and Barb Hagan. Thank you for being our friend. And of course, 4 years of friendship with Governor Nelson, Senator Nelson, our First Lady, Diane. Now, I'm a Republican, and I got to tell you something, Diane, you're the best governor and the best First Lady we've ever had. Also, at this time, I would like to honor my class. We have a terrific class, 1956. May I ask all the people that are here from my class, please stand and be recognized. Now, we're missing them. Please. Thank you. We're missing a very close friend of mine, Judge Ted Carlson, who died of cancer about 4 years ago. But Debbie is here as well, and his son Zach is also a prominent attorney downtown. So would you two stand, please, and be recognized? Zach, I miss Ted every day. I'm missing. Also, Colonel Wally Bryant came in from Missouri. Wally, would you stand, please, with your wife, Mika, please? And what a great guy Wally is to have come this far to be part of it. Wally, thank you so much. He's a heck of a quarterback, and he took over from Jerry Gray. Jerry broke his leg, so Wally had to jump in there, so thank you very much. Also, Sharon and I, we've been very fortunate. We have lots of friends. We're a very small family, so at this time, we have many friends here, and I'd like to honor our friends if they would stand, please. Pat Smith, all the way from Missouri. She attended our wedding back 50 years ago, so thank you so much for coming, Pat. Also, Ken and Barb Lewis. Ken was the president of Emeritus in Lincoln, and really a great guy to work with. He's honest and sincere, and just a lot of fun to work with, so thank you. One thing I could never find out, Ken, is living in Lincoln, Nebraska, and in Huskinland, you were a graduate of Penn State. I don't know how that ever worked out, but I think it did. I'd like to introduce my son, Rob, who came in from Miami. Rob is the assistant U.S. attorney in Miami, and before that, he was the attaché to the U.S. Embassy in Bogota, Colombia. He's married to Kathy, who's also a lawyer. And we have 2 granddaughters, Allie and Maddie, and so we're just very pleased. And thanks, Rob, for being my son. I appreciate it. My wife, Sharon, 50 years. I always kid her and say 48 were really good. But honestly, 50 have been good. I don't know what I'd do without her. This past year, I'd say it was really rough. She was there. She took me to chemo. She did everything she could to keep me alive and going. And Sharon, I'm just so pleased to have you as my wife. I love you very much. So I must say one thing is, I don't know if it was Carol DeVore or Judy Woodbury or somebody, when I was very sick in the hospital, I heard them say, Sharon, you know, John's pretty sick. Let me ask you something. Something happens to him, what would you miss most? And she said, going to the grocery store, he likes to push the cart. A lot of you know or may not know, but I grew up on 24th and Leavenworth. I went to Mason grade school. My mom was a waitress and cook. My dad was a cop. I was supposed to go to South High, but my mom fought all the way and I got here at Central. And when I was at Central, with many of my activities, I had hall patrol, and one of the guys I was with was a guy by the name of Art Lewis, who used to own Arthur's. Great guy. One day Arthur came up to me and he said, John, I got to ask you a real hard question. I said, what's that, Art? He said, well, you never go to lunch in the cafeteria with us. Why is that? Is that because your mom's the cook and you're ashamed of it? And I thought about that. I said, no, that can't be it. So I went home and, you know, I just sort of thought about it that night. And the next day, I went to Art and I said, Art, let's go to lunch. So we went to lunch, and right there, the far end of the cafeteria was my mother. Big smile. She always wore a white apron. And just a beautiful lady. In fact, Art even told me, he said, all the guys think your mom has the best figure of any girl in Central. My son doesn't like to hear that, but you know, I think they were right. But she waved to me, but she, you know, it was a little different. She had a tear on her cheek. Several years after that, my mother took her life. She committed suicide. And she left a note to my dad and I and said, to a wonderful son and to a wonderful husband. My dad, Robert Emery, Captain Emery of the State Patrol, he died of a heart attack at age 58. So what I would like to say tonight about the award is my mother, the waitress, my mother, the cook, my dad, the cop. I accept this award in both their names, Nola and Bob, and I appreciate it very, very much. Thank you.
Our next inductee is Howard Chudikoff, Central High School, 1961.
Good evening. My name is Rodaniel R.B. and I'm a National Honor Society member and the Senior Class Secretary here at Central High School. It is my honor to introduce inductee Howard Chudikoff, class of 1961. In a long career as an Ivy League history professor, Chudikoff has proven a gifted educator and prolific writer, co-authoring an influential college history text and authoring numerous other books spanning diverse academic interests. Even before coming to Central, Chudikoff's strong academic bent earned him the nickname The Professor. After earning his doctorate degree at the University of Chicago, he joined Brown University, ultimately chairing the school's history department and being named to an endowed chair devoted to American history and urban studies. His many published writings include co-authoring a college history text now in its 10th print, and in 2003, he became one of the first recipients of the new Brown Award for excellence in teaching and advising. Howard Chudikoff.
Well, I feel a little bit like
a mosquito at a nude beach. I know what I'm supposed to do, but there are so many opportunities, I'm not quite clear where to start. But I would like to acknowledge, first of all, my parents who are here in spirit and who are both Central High alums. My wife, Nancy, my sister, Barbara, Central Class of 64, my brother, Rick, Central Class of 67, and my brother-in-law, Dan, who is just pure class. And of course, I want to thank the foundation and especially my old buddy, Dick Zachariah. All of these people are responsible for me being here tonight. They're all in my personal Hall of Fame. But I'd like to evoke that film you saw at the very beginning by going back 56 years and thank my own classmates, the class of 1961. Just consider for a moment a list of names that I've selected from that class and what all of these names imply. Maris Vanasquez, Elizabeth Googie Anderson, Don Roy Moore, Connie Spilopoulos, Ellen Goldstein, Jim Capilupo, Olive Graham, Oyar Zarnes, Jamie Kennedy, Steve Baker, and many, many more. These individuals and the whole class represented a multitude of ethnicities, races, personalities, faiths. A true diversity. And they all taught me humanity. We worked together. We talked together. We laughed together. We learned with each other. We learned from each other. We celebrated together. And we suffered together. They are what made Central High School such a vibrant place. And I'm glad to see that so many people over the years, including the students who are at Central High now, continue that tradition that all of us have appreciated so much. All of that class of 1961, several of whom are here tonight, and I'm very humbled and honored that they came to support me. They all enriched my life in ways that have never left me. Because of their inspiration, and the entire class really occupies Central High Hall of Fame. I'm glad to be singled out among them, but I want to acknowledge all of them. Thank you very much.
Our next inductee is Sanford Sandy Friedman, Central High School, 1964.
My name is Chloe Ray, and I'm the Vice President of National Honor Society here at Central. It is my honor to introduce inductee Sanford Friedman, class of 1964. Founding and operating businesses across a diverse range of fields, Friedman over 4 decades proved a successful salesman, troubleshooter, and entrepreneur. He first made his mark in insurance, founding what would grow into Omaha's second largest independent agency, later took over as president of a struggling nationwide firm producing advertising directories for wedding services, turning it into profitability, moving it into internet sales, and ultimately merging it with a larger.com wedding marketing firm. Reedman then launched a successful firm providing quality service measurement for businesses through mystery shopper campaigns, post-sale telephone surveys, and product evaluations. Reedman has also served on numerous community boards, including Girls Club, Omaha Symphony, Jewish Federation of Omaha, and the Anti-Defamation League. Sanford Friedman.
I didn't need these when I went to high school, but I need them now. I've attended many induction ceremonies, and I am deeply honored to become a member of such an accomplished group of Central graduates. And I want to congratulate all my fellow inductees. Academics, athletics, activities, and social life are the 4 areas of influence that Central had on me. The first time I set foot in Central in this building was the summer of 1960. I'd signed up for freshman football. We were to report 2 weeks before school started for 2-a-day practices. Little did I know what I was getting myself in for on that day. I knew a lot about Central because my 2 older brothers, Steve, who's here tonight, and Roger, who was class of 61 with Howard, were both Eagles. Roger graduated, as I said, in 61, and they graduated along with Gail Sayers, so I had heard all about Gail. So I was assigned a locker, I was given equipment, and I was told to be on the field at a certain time. So I went to my locker, and as I'm sitting at my locker, I look around, and there, not 20 feet from me, sat Gail Sayers. I looked at him, and I looked at myself, all 127 pounds worth, and I'll clean this up, and I said to myself, what the heck am I doing here? But we had a coach, George Andrews. He took 40 kids from all over the city, and he molded us into a team. Mr. Andrews was a great coach. In that he was the man who took young boys and he started to build us, help us build character, and start us on our way to being young men. I was a quarterback on a freshman team, and coach expected a lot of me. Matter of fact, one time we were having this terrible mean drill, and after it was all over, I'm laid sprawled on the ground, gasping for air, and Coach Andrews, all 6'4" of them, comes over, and he leans over me with that slow southern drawl, and he says, son, is it against your religion to hustle? Anyway, the message that I learned through 4 years of sweat and bumps and bruises was persistence and determination are omnipotent. The discipline of athletics and the forced management of time really became a part of who I am. Central has always provided an excellent academic and college prep curriculum. The style book's been mentioned tonight several times, and the English department was always has been very outstanding. My teachers, Miss Newens, Miss McBride, and Mr. Clark, probably spent a fortune on grading my themes. They were excellent teachers, and they had the patience of a saint. But eventually, I figured it out, and I got a paperback one time, and it had one red mark on it, an A. I didn't get many of those, but I figured it out. Both of my kids, Andrea and Dusty, are here tonight, and they also went to Central. Although my wife Amy, who is here tonight, didn't go to Central, she went to Westside, she became an honorary Eagle for all that she did while the kids were at Central. There are 3 generations of us here. My mother-in-law, Molly Castman, is also a Central graduate. And if her mother were still with us, there would be 4 generations. As a result of attending Central, both Andrea and Dusty's written and verbal skills are excellent. This is something that I realized while in business was sorely lacking in so many cases. Central did it right, and it stays with you for life. It was exactly 54 years ago that I was on this stage the last time. And I was an a cappella choir, if you can believe that. And we performed Fiorella. Getting involved with activities was an integral part of Central. I loved choir, student council, and all the other activities that I was involved with. It gave me a chance to meet and appreciate so many people with so many different interests than what I had. I spent a lot of time perfecting my social skills. There wasn't a curriculum for this, but what you did learn at Central High School was how to get along with everybody. I think what Central offers can best be summed up when my son Dusty came back from his first semester of college. And I said, Dusty, tell me, how did you like college? How do you like college? And he said, Dad, I love it, but I really miss Central. And I said, really? What do you miss most? And he said, Dad, I miss the diversity. Dusty wrestled for Central. He had kids on his team from all geographic areas of Omaha with diverse ethnic, economic, and religious backgrounds. But they fought hard together as a team, and they played together and hung out together. I think this personifies what we have in this great institution. My reflections serve as a reminder of how fortunate I was to have attended Central. I want to take this opportunity to thank the selection committee for this wonderful honor. I want to thank all my friends who are here tonight, and go class of 64. Thank you.
Our next inductee is Henry Cordes, Central High School, 1981.
My name is Alec Rome, and I'm a National Honor Society member at Central. It is my honor to introduce inductee Henry Cordes, class of 1981. Over nearly 4 decades with the Omaha World Herald, Cordes has been recognized as one of Nebraska's most influential journalists. He joined the paper months after graduating from Central and went on to lead the paper's State House Bureau and later specialize in public policy, projects, and investigations. He's the only 5-time winner of UNL Sorensen Award given annually to recognize Nebraska's most distinguished journalism, and has won national awards for deadline writing, sports writing, and investigative reporting. His investigative work has shined light on poverty in North Omaha, revealed a finance scandal that forced the resignation of the chancellor of UNO, and uncovered excessive executive pay and goodwill, leading to wholesale leadership changes. He's also authored 3 books. Please welcome Henry Cordes.
Thanks to Alec and to all who made this evening possible. And my salute to the other inductees tonight. I'm honored to be associated with you all. Alec, by the way, writes for the Central High Register, which is something very dear to me. There are many elements that go into the job of the journalist, digging for the facts, sorting out the truth, holding institutions accountable. But the basics of the job really comes down to telling stories, whether it's the amazing tale of Leslie Arnold, one of Central's more distinguished alums, by the way, or how a well-known local charity somehow ran off the rails. I love my job as storyteller. So I thought tonight I'd share a couple of stories from my days at Central, stories that say a lot about how my experience here really set me on my course, not just professionally, but really in all aspects of my life. One of the stories I most love to tell from those days was the time I was sitting at a track meet with Coach William Reed. Coach gave me some money, and he asked me to fetch him some cookies. You know, there were a lot to choose from, so I picked something that looked good to me. When I came back and handed the bag to Coach, he kind of gave me a funny look and said, "Sugar cookies? Every black people don't eat sugar cookies." Well, who knew? But it's the interactions like that that help us to understand, appreciate, and delight in our differences, particularly with those who don't look like us. And that happens every day in the creaky wooden halls of Central High School. At Central, I was introduced to punk rock by a brainy kid in the marching band, and to rap music by my track teammates. I made friends with a kid whose dad was the Omaha school superintendent, and with a kid who never had a father in his life at all. I met girls who would go on to become exorbitant royalty, and I got shaken down for lunch money by a kid who came from nothing. It was all part of my education, one that has served me well in a career in which I've explored the roots of poverty in North Omaha, the new wave of immigration in South Omaha, and our city's growing refugee population. The Central community has always embraced its diversity, which continues to be a source of great strength here. And of course, as you've heard, Central also uniquely combines that culture with an academic environment that's second to none. In the classroom, I was taught by some of the true legends of Central, people like Jack Lemke, Dan Daly, Rita Ryan, Mike Garrity. And one day in Mr. Garrity's journalism classroom, I had an experience that truly did change my life's course. I always liked writing, so junior year I took Mr. Garrity's intro to journalism class. But that was pretty much the end of my plans in journalism. One day I was sitting in class and my friend Brian Keenan asked me if I intended to work on the school paper Register my senior year. And I told him no, that I had other plans. It was just a conversation between friends, but someone else in the room had taken notice. When I got home that evening, my mom told me about a phone call she'd received from a Mr. Garrity. And he had been quite concerned to hear that I wasn't planning to work on the Register. He thought I showed some promise, and he, more than that, he believed I'd be missing out on a great opportunity. And with that, he really hooked me in. I mean, I remember telling my mom on the spot, you know, I guess I'm going to work on the Register next year. And I served as the sports editor, and I just loved it. I mean, it was such a thrill to see things I'd written show up in print. And Mr. Garrity was just a great teacher. He was so supportive of us, but he also gave us just enough room to fall flat on our faces, if that was necessary. And months after my graduation from Central, I did parlay that experience into a job in the World Herald Sports Department, and with that foot in the door, things just kind of happened from there. 35 years later, I still just love what I do, and it truly all started right here at Central, you know, right up there on the one side of the third floor. You know, I can tell you more about what Central means to me, like how most of my best friends, not only those I know from high school days, but actually most of those I've met since, are Central grads. A list, by the way, that includes my wife, Susan. To sum up, I just don't think there's anybody who loves this place more than I do. It is simply not possible. But as proud as I am of my own Central ties, I'm even more proud of something else. Last spring, I became the father of a pair of 2017 Central graduates. I was just delighted to see my twin daughters, Thelma and Lucy, get a chance to have their own great experience at Central. And after the second generation go-round at Central, I can offer you all assurances that it's still a wonderful place. I mean, in fact, it's in many ways a better school day than it was back in the day. I only hope my girls' Central stories they're telling years from now are just as meaningful and dear to them as mine are to me. Thanks again so much for this incredible honor, and as I learned from my girls, go Eagles.
Our next inductee is Natalie Brown, Central High School, 1985.
Inductee Natalie Brown, class of 1985. During a globe-trotting, 3-decade career as a U.S. State Department diplomat, Brown has served her country while promoting peace, security, women's rights, and stronger ties with the rest of the world. Her State Department career has taken her to numerous postings around the world, including Deputy Chief of Mission to the U.S. Mission to the UN agencies in Rome, Deputy Chief of the U.S. Embassy in Tunisia, Economic Counselor in Jordan, Political Chief in Kuwait, and assignments in Ethiopia and Guinea. Her U.S. postings included serving as Senior Launch Officer in the State Department Operations Center during the 9/11 attacks. Her career reached a new climax in 2016 when she took over as Chief Diplomat of the U.S. Embassy in Eritrea. Ladies and gentlemen, Natalie Brown.
Wow. You know, I have to admit, when I thought about this evening, I was a bit overwhelmed. It's a bit unnerving to be standing before all of you on this grand stage. You know, when I previously appeared on this platform, it was always in the comfort of fellow students, orchestra members, either on this stage or what used to be the pit orchestra beneath us. I guess it's still here. You know, but as I look around at tonight's other honorees, the many friends and family members here who came out in the rain, and of course all the Eagles assembled, I'm reminded that I continue to be surrounded, encouraged, comforted, and supported by the Central community. And this represents the legacy and the tradition of excellence for which Central is known, and the reasons why I am very proud to be a Central alum. Legacy, tradition of excellence, these words are more than the motto on the Foundation's homepage. These are the words that I think of when I think of Central. These are the values that I carry with me and strive to promote. The legacy aspect, you know, for me it's a very personal one. It's not only about the generations of Central graduates who preceded me and those still to come, but also about family. And I think in a reference to the style book, I will note the not only but also construct. That's something firmly imprinted on my brain since sophomore year. Back to family, my father, who I'm certain is here in spirit with us. He's a 1948 graduate of Central High School. Some of his brothers are also Eagles. My sister Daryl in Los Angeles is a 1980 graduate. And the Brown contingent here tonight, including my aunt and some cousins, are also Eagles. So I never thought of becoming anything other than a Central Eagle. I still remember when it came time to rank high schools. Having not gotten my choice of school for 9th grade, I felt a deep sense of dread that I'd be assigned to the neighborhood school, Benson, and that I'd be doomed, I'd say doomed, to be a bunny for eternity. Fortunately, the fates intervened. As important as legacy is, however, it's the tradition of excellence that's truly defined Central. Now, my father was a police officer, and for much of my youth, my mother was a nurse, so obviously hard work and excellence featured in my upbringing. But Central reinforced this approach and work ethic. The faculty and staff challenged and encouraged me and made it possible for me to try new things, whether it's an impromptu switch from harp and violin in the orchestra debates or taking 2 foreign language classes at the same time. And what I learned from all of these experiences sustains me today. Foreign language fluency is key to my career, and Central provided a solid basis. I've lived in nations with limited or no rule of law, and I'm currently serving in a country without a constitution. Central's history and governance classes taught me how to analyze developments, identify trends, and most importantly, explain the structure of American governments and the importance of having a voice. But as others have said, I am most grateful for Central's English department. Instructors like Mrs. Lottery, Mrs. Bernstein, and Mr. Daly nurtured my love of literature, and they taught me how to write and how to write well. So well, in fact, that when I applied to college, I was competitive for some of the country's best schools and tested out of English classes. But Central's concern for its students extends beyond the formal classroom and benefited me in so many other ways as well. The diversity of the student body, which Central has further embraced over the years, prepared me well for working cross-culturally. The Central community invested both in my education and in me. A PEP scholarship paid for college books. And generations of students bonded over and through the trip to Red Cloud, Nebraska after reading My Antonia, and those bonds are unbreakable. Classmates from that trip, Lisa and Jenny, are here tonight, and although I've not lived in Omaha in years, they've helped to maintain that connection to home through cards, care packages, and even artwork. Kristen Kluchek, a friend from Central, and even before from Pontneau, graciously lent 2 of her pieces to the State Department for me to hang in my home. And visitors, when they see our artwork, and when they hear about the connection, they're forced to change their perception of Middle America, which they know from TV is that part of the country people fly over. And they're forced to change their perceptions of Americans, whom they often think of, again from TV, as rootless. So I thank Central and my fellow Eagles for this award. And beyond that, OPS, including James Freeman, my elementary school principal, who is also here tonight with us, for giving me a solid foundation and fostering the skills needed to soar like an eagle around the world. This recognition is motivation to continue to honor the tradition of excellence and uphold Central's legacy. Thank you.
Our final inductee tonight is Camara Barty, Central High School, 1990.
My name is Paul Kesters, and I'm a National Honor Society member at Central. It is my honor to introduce inductee Camara Barty, class of 1990. Believed to be the first Central graduate to play in baseball's major leagues, the speedy Barty has made his mark as a rangy outfielder for 3 teams and now as a coach for the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Central All-State player accepted a scholarship to Creighton, helping the Blue Jays to their only appearance in the College World Series in 1991. Over parts of 6 seasons with the Detroit Tigers, Cincinnati Reds, and Colorado Rockies, Barty became best known for his speed on the bases and slick defense. Now he's passing on his knowledge, serving 9 years as a minor league coach and manager before this year, returning to the majors as the Pirates' first base, outfield, and base running coach, Camara Barty.
I was talking to my son, trying to gather some thoughts and asking him, should I just wing it and not use notes, or should I just go ahead and say it? Because why don't you just use your iPhone, your iPad? I'm like,
I didn't know you could do that. He goes, yeah, I do it on my iPhone and my iPad all the time. I said, you forgot one, I pay. We laughed at that. Mr. Cordes mentioned Coach William Reed, and I knew William Reed, and I've known him for pretty much all my life. We used to come to the house all the time, play softball with my family, and also I used to watch those football teams that he coached with Parnell Gatson, Larry Station, Darryl Duncan, those guys in the 80s. So I'm thankful for him to be around when I was at Central. One of my highlights at Central was going to lunch, and anyone that knows William Reed and has never eaten with him, you want to see him eat a sandwich. Coach Reed would eat a sandwich unlike any other. I don't know if he ate sugar cookies. I didn't see that. He would eat a sandwich. Anyone that knows him knows this. He would eat a sandwich straight down the middle. He didn't go to the side, he went straight down the middle. So at the end of the sandwich, and we would have all our guys would just sit there, coach, is he eating? But yeah. Does he have a sandwich? Yeah, so let's go. We would have mayonnaise, mustard, all the way up to the sandwich. That's Coach Reed. That was one of the highlights of definitely our 7-hour lunch period. I just want to thank the Central High School Foundation and everyone involved in the induction process. This is an honor. I want to thank every teacher that worked with me. Special thanks to the Central High School Marketing Department, who continued to support me long after I graduated from Central. They would show up at games. They would show up in Louisville, Kentucky. They showed up, and I continue to be appreciative of that. I want to again thank this class. I'm really honored and privileged to be with you guys, and I want to also thank and congratulate the past classes. Two Hall of Famers, two past Hall of Famers in particular. I want to thank our Dr. Jerry and Dr. Ramona Barti. I kind of still hang out with them. They taught me to be strong, kind, and colorblind. They also taught me to always respect the game that I work for, and then respect the name on the front, as well as honor the name on the back of it. They also raised me never to settle for anything less than my value. I always live with that in mind. Mom and Dad, they both know that I exceeded that goal when I married my everything, my wife Brandon. So I want to thank her, along with my kids Andrew, Amari, and Tasia, for their continued support. My sister Ramona's here with her daughters, Amaya and Cadence. She's a Central Island as well. Thank you for your support. Also like to thank the classes 88, 89, and 90. And when I mention them, I'm still mentioning family, because that's what they are to me, and will continue to be. Ryan and Angela Coleman, Andre Gilmore, thank you in particular. My message to the students, current and past and future students at Central. Central High School produces nothing but leaders. That's all we are. We have no choice but to inherit that responsibility as soon as we step in the doors here. As leaders, we need to understand our influence, and we need to stay aware of our influence and how they can positively impact everyone that we encounter. These could be things that everyone notices, which are a good thing, but they could also be the small things, just as important as just possibly that will possibly go unnoticed. A hello, a goodbye, a please, a thank you, and even a smile can change the course of someone's day for the better. So just stay aware of your responsibility of being a leader that Central has developed us all to be. Thank you again, and you guys have a good evening.
So could I get the house lights up? And so, class of 2017, the 19th Hall of Fame group, would you guys stand? Turn and be recognized. Congratulations. To conclude tonight, I would like to also recognize some individuals that were not earlier recognized. I would like to recognize the young people who are a part of this. They are a very, very important part of this institution, obviously. They are the current and they will be the future. And so when I call these individuals' names, will you please stand? Paul Kesters, Amna Hyder, Ray Daniel Arby, Alec Rome, Edgar Roman, Michaela Gillespie, Chloe Ray, Lauren Boxaw, Evan Coates, and Nick Kohler. Thank you guys very much. You did outstanding. Well done. You did right. And finally, I want to recognize some of the staff that were involved. Paul Nielsen, National Honor Society advisor. Lori Falcon, who was in the back. Lisa Wheeler, who was up doing the live stream. Colonel Melvin and the JROTC students tonight did an outstanding job. And finally, Scott Mead, our drama teacher, and their tech crew. Let's give them a round of applause. At this time, I want to make sure the inductees know that we're going to ask you back on the stage because we need to take a class picture. Okay? Yes, we do class pictures. And so don't go running away. For the rest of you that are ready to go watch the Cubs or whatever organization that is playing, obviously, Camara, your group isn't. It's okay. It's okay. If you're not the best, you're working to get better. That's the Eagle way. I would like to say thank you. Thank you for being a part of this very special evening. Congratulations. And as you exit, there will be Central High Alumni Association people to support or help. We will exit on this side. Again, I want to thank you on behalf of the finest high school in the country, the Downtown High School, Omaha Central High School. Have a great evening.